What's going on, golf addicts? It is the Charles Schwab Challenge 2023 betting show. Tour Junkies here. DB, Pat Perry. Pat, how we doing? I love the Champions polo.
Yeah, that's for you, DB. Just
Thank
for
you.
you. You're a champion, DB. You're a champion in my eyes.
You know, champion of Flight 3. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into all that because I could talk about it a lot. I said it today in our first look show that I did for the Nut Hut family. I said, I think me and Pat could do a full. I would like to do a full podcast with all the spare time we have on my member weekend, and then just like all the things that happened over the PGA Championship, because we're going to get to some of it. We want to talk about some of it on this show. We're going to try to mix it up, talk about some different things on the DraftKings preview, but there was a lot that went on, and it would be a lot of fun to talk about. But I'm not going to get into me winning my flight and making it to the shootout in the member and almost getting there, finished top 5. I made a bad decision in the chip off.
So that happens. It's golf, DB.
And I've been thinking about the decision literally since it happened. I woke up in the middle of the night thinking about it. Woke up this morning thinking about it. I'll shake it. I'm very happy, but I am thinking about it. It's one thing when you just make a bad swing, but when you make a bad decision, you're like, God, you just want to, yeah. Anyway, it was a great week. Thanks for all the support, Pat, Nut Hut family, people on the internet. It was a good time. But dang, I mean, we got to talk about the PGA Championship, and we got to go down the board, presented by our friends at Leaderboard, as is this podcast. Leaderboard is a beautiful app, only in the iOS store, that you can download right now, and they're working on it. It'll be in the Android store, so chill. And it's the best on-course app you could use to track your own game, to track your own stats, and especially if you're betting with your friends on the golf course, this is a fantastic app. All you got to do is load your buddies in. They can join Leaderboard. You can link it with your USGA GIN. That way, everybody's handicaps pull in. Leaderboard will dot the scorecard for you and keep up with one of, I think, 6 games in the Leaderboard app you can play and gamble on. And then when it's all over and it's all said and done, Leaderboard will tell you who owes who money, and they'll kick you to Venmo. It's a beautiful thing. The link is in the description of this podcast. Make sure that you use promo code TJ or referral code TJ when you sign up, because now there's another Leaderboard. They're good people. Leaderboard is going to do a little thing now. They just did this in the Nut Hut today. I don't know if you saw it, Pat, but they posted a leaderboard of Tour Junkies users in the app and the best scores of Tour Junkies users. And man, I got to say, I was pleasantly surprised to see some good scores in there, because based on who signed up for Golby's Cup last year, I wouldn't have expected to see anything better than
big struggle. Yeah.
But there were some couple 70s in there. It was good to see. So they're going to post that. And if you are, if you've downloaded the app and you've used our promo code, every week they're going to pick a winner who posts on the app a score to send some merch to, some Tour Junkies merch. So check that out. But down the board, Pat, looking down the board, we can talk about Brooks here in a minute, but further down the board, anybody you want to talk about, bud?
Well, actually, I would like to talk about Viktor Hovland.
Okay.
I'd like to talk about Viktor Hovland because there's a few things about Viktor Hovland.
He broke my heart.
Yeah, he did. Me too. I mean, I know he was on your betting card, but I also had him in DFS. Him and Corey Connors. One of the other, really, if Corey Connors wins and Viktor Hovland's is second, I'm probably Viktor Hovland's. Yeah. He's plural now. He's 2 people.
He's too good. He can't just have one Hovland. It's not enough.
Yeah. It's a huge week for me in DFS. Instead, I doubled up, which is good. So I was pretty excited about that. But let me talk about Viktor a little bit, because have you looked at his stats, DB, last week?
Yeah. I mean, he gained like 10 strokes on approach, I believe.
10 on approach, 16.8 total.
Yeah.
3.2 strokes around the green. And you know what? Now, I'm not saying that Viktor's found anything around the green. Okay, I'm not. I will say this. If you listen to announcers on the radio talk about his scrambling, they act like he's the next Phil Mickelson. And he's not. He's not, okay? But he did scramble well this week. It was quite impressive. Some of the stuff he was doing, ballsy shots out of the rough, out of the sand, it looked pretty good. I mean, if that was there a lot of weeks, Viktor Hovland's winning
a lot.
Several majors. A lot. So I was impressed with Viktor. Now, I was not impressed with hole number 16. He did the exact same thing that Corey Connors did. Both guys I needed to win. Hole 16 effed me. It effed them.
Yeah.
I mean, hitting it into a bunker and then having to take a embedded ball rule. I mean,
It's a
both
bad
guys.
hole. That's a bad hole.
I just don't. Yeah, I didn't like 16 at all. I
It
didn't like it.
looks great on paper, and then when we started watching, it's like, okay. I mean, damn, remember Jordan Spieth had to freaking what was it he had to do in like round 1 or 2 to make it was round 2, didn't he? Didn't he have
Mhm.
to didn't he have to drop? He had to
I
like reload in the bunker.
Yeah. I mean, it was just I hated that whole I mean, obviously for a lot of reasons. Um, but anyway, I thought Victor did show a lot this week, and now that's another major where he's finishing in the top 10. You go back to the Open Championship where he was, battling Rory at first, we thought, and then all of a sudden Cam Smith came back and just won. But Victor's right there, and I think we got to pay attention to him the rest of the way this year. I don't think he should be as low owned. Now, if he is, I'll continue to play
Yeah,
him.
yeah, I had him. I was well leveraged on some Victor Hovland.
Yeah. So Victor's my guy down the board that I wanted to talk about because I think there's a lot of impressive things to take out of that, other than just what happened on 16.
And not far down the board at that. I mean, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I was really hoping. Now we talked about Brooks on the betting show. We talked about Brooks a bunch in the Nut Hut. I mean, and dude, we have to sit here and give our boy Vince Vince Margiotta the Italian job went down last week because in only like his third or fourth week doing this, he has delivered now. I think this is the second time delivering because he had a Sunday Save Your Ass parlay hit just a couple weeks ago. I think in like week 1 or 2. Vince drops the Let's Go Juicin' parlay on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, free on tourjunkies.com. And it is some dude I'd never heard of for the Celtics, and it is Brooks Kepka double paired up together to juice Brooksy K at 39-1. And
Gotta love it.
it hits, and people in the Nut Hut were riding. That was right on the heels of us talking about him on the show and in the Discord too. And freaking Vince pairs him with this dude at Boston, not named Jason Tatum, or what's the other guy that's actually better than Jason Tatum? I can't remember his name. Anyway,
Al Horford.
No, it's definitely
I
not Al
don't
Horford.
know.
It was an unbelievable call by Vince. Yeah, Spaz by Vince is my new favorite Italian, replacing Lou Malnati. Was it Lou Malnati's Pizza?
I believe that's a pizza place. I could be wrong.
Yeah, see Mike's. I mean, everybody's just loving Vince, getting a lot of love. So shout out to him. Spaz is talking about tour picks. Joe Idoni. That's right. Joe Idoni tour picks dropped his betting card early for us, and it had Brooks Koepka on it. He also added another unit to his season-long total for finish position bets and head-to-heads exclusively in the Nut Hut. He's now up 16 units if you're in the Nut Hut tailing that. AK says, praise God for Vince. I mean, we were riding.
Yeah.
Also, I was a little inactive on the weekend in the Discord, and I apologize. I was obviously preoccupied with the member. But Pat, I had my best week ever in my exclusive Nut Hut Discord top 20s and head-to-heads. Between the two, I gained over 5 units, and I'm trying to make up ground on Joe. So I made up a little ground on Joe this week. Happy to do that. I did a lot of top 20s, and more than half of them hit, and it was nice. We had a couple big ones in there.
I felt close on a few first round leader bets. Now we know those are
you had Keegan.
I had Keegan.
Somebody else.
I had Victor.
Yeah,
he was kind of up there, wasn't he?
Yep.
First, but they didn't hit. But we know this first round leader bets are so hard, but they were close.
You got to get in the Discord. Link in the description. Check it out. It's $20 a month, and I promise you, you're making your money if you're just like blindly tailing any of this stuff, like between the prop stuff and all that. You're doing it. You got to be consistent, though. You got to get in there and you got to be consistent. We got to ride. Okay, we ride every week. Golf is a long game. It's a long season. It's big picture stuff. It's not one day, 1 week, one tournament. We got to zoom out, right? So we can talk about Brooks doing his thing. We might talk about him a little bit more in the DFS show. But as I look down the leaderboard, Pat, it's hard to pass up Bryson. He's my honorable mention. We know.
I had a feeling you might go that direction.
I don't want to give too much credit to Bryson. I'm not. I did finish T4 and it was rather impressive. This place drew a lot of winged foot comparisons leading up to the week, and Bryson ended up comparing it to winged foot himself. But He's my honorable mention. I'll stop. I'm not going to go any further.
Okay.
There's another player in there that I really want to talk about, but I think I'm going to save him for the DFS conversation. But I'm talking about down the leaderboard, Pat.
Like way down.
Down it. Okay.
I mean, make the cut down it or miss the cut down it.
What if I had told you, Pat? Okay, you know how. I mean, this is actually probably available, and I don't even know it. But no, it couldn't have been. What if I had told you before the PGA Championship? Hey, there's a really cool prop market out there between Top Kim at the PGA Championship. And you'd be like, what? Oh, I'm interested. Who is it, Daddy? Tell me. And I'd say, well, Tom Kim is going to be your favorite there. He's going to be probably a plus 150. Siwoo Kim, God love him. Everybody's favorite sweet Korean prince, South Korean prince. He's maybe like a 2 plus 225 or something.
Yeah.
And then after that, there'd be a guy named Siwon Kim.
Is it Sawan or Siwon?
I'm going to say Siwon because he's not cool enough to get the Siwon like Siwoo. We're not going to do that. And his C and A and his are pressed together. Siwoo's got a space in there. You know what I mean?
So that means you change up how you say it?
I'm just going to say it's like one word, Siwon.
Okay.
Not Siwon.
Either way.
He would have been 30-1.
And he does not, and he
in that bunch, yeah.
And
the
reason, I only know one thing. I think he shoots a lot of 80s. That's the only thing I really know.
He shoots a lot of 80s. I'm talking about live golf DFL standout Siwon Kim, who I have made fun of a couple times. I got one viral video on TikTok from last year on Siwon Kim. I've made fun of Siwon Kim. Probably a nice guy, but dang it, like, come on. Literally, if you go and look at the live golf standings, there are 48 players in every tournament. If you go look at the live golf season-long standings right now, he's number 49. He's just above Alex Ogletree. Andy Ogletree. Alex Ogletree played for the Dogs, right? In the NFL.
No. It's Alec, actually. ALEC. But you're on the right track. But anyway.
Andy, right? Isn't it Andy?
Yeah.
He's only ahead of Andy Ogletree, who's only played in one tournament. Here are Siwon Kim's finishes at live. Everybody's talking about how amazing the live guys are. Brooks is up there. Bryson's up there. P. Reed's up there. Cam Smith's up there. Nobody's talking about Siwon Kim. This man is a miracle. Here are his finishes in live this year. 48th. Again, out of 48. 48. 48. Okay, his first 3 events of the year. He finishes 47th in Australia. 47th. That was his 4th event. 45th in Singapore. And 43rd in Tulsa. So you could say he was trending. We should have seen it coming.
Yeah, we should have seen it coming.
Coming out of Tulsa, on his way to a T62 finish at the PGA Championship, beating both Siwoo Kim and Tom Kim to take the Kim crown at the PGA Championship. Now, he also beat freaking Justin Thomas. Ever heard of him? Tony Finau, Ricky Fowler, Gary Woodland, Wyndham Clark, Cameron Young. This is crazy town that no one is giving Siwon Kim any credit. I think the man should be revered by all. I don't care about Michael Block. Michael Block.
I was about to say, like, what about Michael Block?
No, F Michael Block. Siwon Kim has been the doo-doo on the bottom of the live shoe since it started. Shooting in the 80s constantly. I bet Michael Block would be better than that on live. Siwon Kim finishing T62 and beating the people he did is more impressive than Michael Block. More impressive. I think he should be exempt into the rest of the Open and the US Open. It should be all. We should have all the Siwon Kim we could ask for. It's unbelievable.
What if Michael Block gets asked to go to live? I didn't even think about that. Anyway, Siwon Kim. I mean, it's great.
It would be very Greg Norman-esque to do it. Like literally have called him last night. Like, let's ride the heat wave, Michael. Listen, you're only worth this now. You go to Colonial and you put up a stinker. this offer goes off the table. But for now, I will pay you $1 million.
In the darkness of the night, Michael Block goes to live.
What if he did? Honestly, dude, I mean, he looks like a great guy, nice guy. It was heartwarming, the whole thing. I didn't plan on talking about Michael Block, but you brought it up. Can I just say something? Michael Block, if I showed you a picture of guys, if I showed you a lineup of just regular ass dudes, okay, and I said, these dudes are all members of a country club, and one of them is notorious at the country club for getting absolutely obliterated and making a fool of himself at every member, whatever, like gets obliterated, drunk all the time. It looks like Michael Block would be that guy. I'm not saying he is. This is not.
But then he's like the same guy that would like drop a damn 40-footer to win the member guest, and also shoot 68 out of nowhere, and you're like, what the hell just happened to me?
Yeah, but to me, I think Michael probably knows how to have a good time. He just looks like a guy who knows how to have a good time. Like, I bet Block.
Hopefully, he does. I mean, that would suck if he was really boring of the human. It does not appear to be that way, but that would suck.
Mike Copley says no block party. I guarantee you that guy looking like he knows how to have a good time. It's probably this week is not the first time he's heard anyone say block party, because I bet he's earned that nickname over the years. But yeah, I don't think Swan Kim's get enough credit. That's just me. Whatever. And that's down the board presented by Leaderboard. We will talk a little bit more about some storylines with the PGA on the DFS show.
Yeah. What are you drinking, by the way?
I'm Planet Tito's right now. And I got to be honest, I went a little light on the pour, man. Member weekend, I did a lot. Can I tell you a new thing I did, Pat? And I don't know how I never thought of this. I know where
you're going. You did tell me this, but you might have been drunk.
I think I do remember telling you this. Yeah. What's a popular golf course drink?
A transfusion.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What's my favorite liquor of choice?
Tequila.
A Reposado tequila replacing the vodka in a transfusion to make it
Tito's
a Mexican transfusion. It was delicious. Absolutely delicious. So that was really good. Anyway, I'm just trying to kind of nothing really sounded good to me today, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm a man of the people. All right, let's talk about the top of the board. We're at Colonial Country Club. We all know Colonial. We all know it. Okay, Perry Maxwell design, Hogan's horseshoe, par 70. Sam Burns, your defending champion. We know what we got to do here. This is this is hit fairways. You can maybe cut some corners like Jason Kokrak did a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. Hit some fairways. It's hard to play well out of this Bermuda rough. Very small greens, peckish greens. Bent grass greens as well. Bermuda rough, Bermuda fairways. And really the wind is the primary defense of this golf course. But I tell you, Pat, early looks, I see zero weather whatsoever, which is kind of nice coming off the PGA that we had. But there's not much wind coming at all to this golf course. So I could see last year it was windy. Last year it got kind of nasty. I was looking at kind of some past years. Winning scores I could see being closer to your Jason Kokrak 2021, your Daniel Berger 2020. And possibly your Justin Rose win in 2018, where he got it all the way up to 20 under. I could see some winning scores being in that more like 13 to 16 under kind of scenario. And we have had a lot of, we've not had any sort of absolute bombs. Boo Weekley was the last triple-digit outright winner here. But we've had plenty of guys in the mid-range. Jordan Spieth was your last single-digit outright favorite in 2016 at around 7.5 to 1. So that, there's potential to kind of get a long shot here, despite having a decent top element here, top tier of some of the best players up at the top of the betting board. It could happen. Obviously, Scotty is playing amazing, and he's our favorite. So we're talking about let's talk the top of the board, shorter than that 25 to 1 range. You got Scheffler at around 4.5 to 1, 4 to 1 best number. You got Spieth 12 to 1, 14 to 1 ish. We told you that he wasn't hurt. We told you. Told you he wasn't hurt. He's not hurt, people. We were right on this. Like, we're just right on this. Finau's in there, Hovland, Morikawa, Sung J.M., who may have made a giant mistake going to beat up on his fellow countrymen in South Korea, literally the weekend before he played the PGA Championship because he
Yeah, I wish I would have paid attention to that.
And then kind of Max Homa is really our cutoff here. So up top, who do you like?
Well, DB, I've got two guys here that I like, and I'm very focused on these two, and I don't want to try to get any. I don't want distractions during the week. I don't want anybody to talk me off of them.
Okay.
I just want to bet them and be done with it. And that's Tony Finau and Victor Hovland. Those are the two guys that I want to bet. I want to put all my monies on top, and I don't want anybody talking to me about anything else. Okay, nothing else.
Nothing else.
Victor and Finau. That's it.
God, Finau, dude. What is his problem?
I don't know. Every time I saw him, I felt like he was like moving a rock or some shit. Like he was doing something. DB just marked when I cussed. I thought you.
No.
I mean, it just wasn't. I don't know. Finau should have been okay on that golf course. It shouldn't have been that. I mean, it was hard for everyone. But what was he, 14 over? I mean.
He got beat by Sewon Kim.
It was terrible. Anyway, I'm going back to him this week. He has a great history here. He's obviously going to check a ton of boxes. I mean, when you're looking at ball striking, which I like, strokes gained approach.
Yeah, same old. I say, yeah.
I mean, all these things, all of them. I don't need to deliver all this crap. And then his history is fantastic here. So Tony Finau, I love, and Victor Hovland, same thing. I mean, again, just the way he played last week. I'm going to go back to him. I still think, all the things I said about Victor earlier. So,
yeah, Victor's there for me. I talked about him this morning on the First Look show. We went ahead and clicked him at 16-1 at the time. You can still get him at 16-1, I think, but maybe not for long. And then, I mean, in this range, I kind of like Colin Morikawa at 8-1. I just think Morikawa has got to break out. He's got to break out of the winning slump. It's been a minute since he's won.
Maybe you're the Morikawa whisperer.
Maybe I am.
I am not. It is obvious. He gets close.
I mean, he's close for me. Can you believe he's coming up on 2 years since his last win? Like, where is time going that Colin Morikawa hasn't won in 2 years? You know what I mean? Like that
is kind of crazy. I didn't even think
jarring to think about. He last won the Open in 2021. That was his last victory. So I just I feel like Colonial should be the ideal spot for him. Now his best finish was in 2020, right when I think this was the first event restarted after the COVID break, and we did hit Daniel Berger at 70-1 when he won.
Speaking of that, we have very good. This is approaching Honda Classic territory.
This is a good turn because you hit Kokrak. I hit Berger. You hit Kokrak.
Yeah.
Who was it before Kokrak again? It was Berger before Kokrak. Did one of us hit Burns last? I don't think I hit Burns on this.
No, I don't think we hit Burns, but
yeah, we do have a good thing going here. Yeah, maybe it's foolish. Maybe I should just be, because the other name in here, I mean, it's Hovland for sure, but maybe the other, and maybe there's a little hangover with Hovland that worries me a little bit, but it's just too good. He's young, like who cares? I think he wants to get across the finish line of any event he can get across the finish line in. Like, of course he wants to do it in a major, but I just think he's ready to just like give me another win because he's playing so freaking good. He just can't get it done. But I was tempted to go Spieth here because I can still get Spieth at 14-1. So like, why would I take more? I don't know. But I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling about Morikawa. I just feel it. It's not that hard to chip around Colonial. So I think that'll be good for him. These small greens, I think he's going to hit a lot of greens and rag. The irons are still really, really good. I mean, he's still hitting the ball extremely well with his irons. And the only reason he's not gaining strokes off the tee is because he's not hitting it far. He's not one that's really been chasing distance. So it does come down to the putter for him.
What
But
is it by the way, with Morikawa and Hovland in their short games? I mean, they're like the same age and they're the best ball strikers in the world. Anytime you're talking about great ball strikers, great iron players, you get Hovland, you get Morikawa. I mean, did they miss, like, were they there for ball striking school day, but they forgot about
no, they
scrambling?
didn't grow up around old guys like you surrounding them on the range going, son, get that 60 degree out of your hand and give me a 7-iron. Let me show you how to do it. They didn't they
They,
didn't grow up
they
they didn't grow
missed,
up with a bump and run sensei like
no,
yourself.
they missed scrambling day. They missed how to get up and down.
They skipped school there.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, yeah, that makes 3 of us because that was my downfall at the mid-November.
I'll send you some videos, DB.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so I think that's where I'm going. I mean, I'm with you on the Hovland call, and I think there could be a little bit of a letdown, but I'm not too worried about it. I mean, obviously Scheffler. I feel like Scheffler at plus 450 is kind of a God. I mean, he's so good, but wasn't he like 450 at the Byron Nelson, and the field was like way worse.
Mhm.
I don't understand why he's the same
That
price.
was a little, yeah, that was a little too short.
Well, I mean,
He
maybe
really snuck into that second place finish. How about that?
he did. I mean, maybe he was 350 at the Byron, but still, it's not like I feel like he should be a little longer with a field that's got the top end that this one does. Even as good as he's playing. So, other than that, I mean, listen. Well, we'll talk about that guy in the next range. Okay. I want to remind everybody, check out our friends at Pickett. Download the Pickett app if you've not already. It is free. Link is in the description of the podcast. Use promo code TJ when you do. And then after you've downloaded it, you do have to link one sports book if you're in a legal betting state. You have one. Or you can link something like Prize Picks, Underdog, Sleeper, Parlay Play, whatever those kind of DFS sites that you're on. You can also link one of those. It'll track your bets for you. You got to know if you're betting, if you're playing these things, you got to keep track of what you're doing. It'll also not just keep track of your totals. It'll keep track of what sports you're better at. I mean, I needed somebody to look at me and tell me, DB, get out of the NFL DFS streets. You suck. And finally I did. And I'm glad I did. I saved a lot of money not doing DraftKings NFL every Sunday. So, an app like Pickett that can show you, here are the sports you're bad at and the sports you're good at. Here are the type of bets, the type of plays you're good at and you're bad at, is all good data to have. And it's a free app, iOS and Android. Free app. Click it. Click the link. Promo code TJ. Link a sportsbook. And then once you do that, they will send you either $3 free cash money to your PayPal, or they will send you $100 just because they're nice. And one person a day wins $100 on the Pickett app. So do that. They're good supporters of the podcast, and it's a great tool for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to this mid-range. I mean, this is obviously where this is really, I think, where the bread shall be buttered. I got to start with Tommy Ladd, because why else would we not do Tommy Ladd? I mean, same thing. Now I need to address this because some may be wondering. I did mention that if I didn't hit a winner last week, I would come in drawing something on my face to kind of try to change the vibe. And I thought about doing it today. I had the time to do it, and I know what I'm going to draw. But I chose to wait. I'm going to wait one more week. I had Hovland on the card, and Hovland had a great shot. I've been close, I've been close. And then I had such a good week with the top 20s and the head-to-heads, in the Nut Hut, winning the 5 units. I don't want to prematurely draw on my face. I don't like to prematurely do anything. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up any potential momentum, mojo, vibes that I'm creeping into here, and then throw off the whole circadian rhythm of my betting success.
The what rhythm?
Circadian rhythm.
Oh, okay.
Look it up. So I didn't do it, but I am close. If we suffer this week, I I know exactly what I'm drawing on my face to turn things around. So
Yeah.
that's coming.
Well, I mean, a lot of us are disappointed you haven't had to draw on your face yet. But again, um, I agree. I think it's not time yet. I don't feel like it's time yet for you to draw on your face. I mean, I was desperate when I drew on my face. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happens? I mean, I'm
What?
getting close. I may be drawing on my face again soon.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in a dry spell right now, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
on the outrights, we are. We're
On
close.
the outrights, yeah.
We're close. I'm with you on Fleetwood, by the way. We continue with Fleetwood. We just continue this.
There's nothing else that needs to be said.
We missed
Like,
out on Jason Day. We
yep,
missed
missed
out
out
on
on
Wyndham
Wyndham
Clark. We gotta keep going with Fleetwood. We gotta keep going.
Yep, keep doing it. Nothing else needs to be said there. I 100% agree. I also like Chris Kirk. Speaking of when you drew on your face, I like Chris Kirk at 55 to 1 on FanDuel and PointsBet right now. I mean, good record here, past champion from back in the day. Won earlier this year. Doesn't have to hit it a mile. Had a good PGA championship. I think Chris Kirk is definitely a very good value and can for sure win in a field like this at 55 to 1. I like it. So I like that one.
Okay.
I did talk up Jaeger this morning at 75 to 1 in the first look betting show. And now, and actually our boy Spaz brought up a good question that I think should be addressed because I think it's easy to forget about Jaeger. Obviously, Jaeger's playing hot right now, and he's checking a lot of boxes right now. He seems like he's added some length, added some distance. I think that's helped him. It can't hurt you on the PGA Tour. But one of the things that Spaz said, because I say it a lot, is he said, "Do you want to see him in the heat first?" Right? Like, I'll talk about sometimes for first time winners, I like to see them late on a Sunday in contention, go through it and not get it done, and feel what that feels like. And then we hit them. Then we ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
For some guys, which is a great question because Stefan Jaeger is really not, is it Stefan or Steven? I don't know. I say both. He's really not been deep in the hunt late on a Sunday on the PGA Tour lately. But I reminded Spaz that this man has won 6 times on the Korn Ferry Tour. And to me, that's all I need. Like, it is a little crazy that, all the seasons and the attempts that he's had on the PGA Tour, he's not been in that close contention on the PGA Tour for having won 6 times on arguably, prior to Live, the second most competitive tour on the planet. Right? I mean, more so than the DP World Tour. There were way better players for years that Steven Jaeger beat, like Scotty Scheffler, like Sam Burns, like Xander Schauffele. Like, he beat these guys and won 6 times. So to me, like, being in contention and closing the door that many times on that level of talent at that stage is enough. So I think it's 75 to 1. We continue to ride the hot hand with Steven Jaeger. There's a couple of names in here that I'm very closely looking at that we didn't talk a lot about in the first look show, but as I started doing more research today, started kind of popping for me. I'm going to leave them out there to see what you say, and we'll hit them if you don't say it.
Okay. All right. Well, I've got a couple in here, and I do like Steven Jaeger, by the way, so I'm with you there, and I like Fleetwood also.
Okay.
Here's the one that I'm really excited about, DB. Cam Davis. I think Cam Davis he's just a streaky guy, okay? And you want to play Cam Davis when he's on a little bit of a hot streak, obviously. And I think that's where we're getting him right now. I mean, you look at his last few events, T4 last week at the PGA Championship, great Sunday to kind of get him into that top 5. T59 at the Wells, not great, I get that. But then a top 10 at the Heritage. We saw him play at Sawgrass at the Players Championship and have some good rounds. So I think Cam Davis is a very good bet here at 45 to 1. I mean, you look at the way he's been playing lately. I mean, last week, just really good. I mean, 12.8 strokes total, 5 strokes off the tee, 4.9 on approach, 4 strokes around the green. The putting is just not quite there. He lost 1 stroke putting. So that's it. I mean, you look at that.
Yeah.
All of his game is starting to get there for him. So I like Cam Davis
He's
there.
had good finishes on short courses too, like
Yeah.
not necessarily like super driver heavy courses like the Heritage. Um, Sony, I think he had a good finish one time. I mean, he had this illness thing that he talked about, right, just a couple of weeks ago. That it seems like maybe he's come through that, and maybe that's why he wasn't playing all that well. Because there was definitely a time where Cam Davis looked a little lost. But I agree, he seems to be back.
Yeah.
He was one I had circled here too.
Really like him at 45-1. I like Justin Rose at
Yep,
33-1.
that was the other one.
A guy that's won on this golf course before just a few years ago. I think it was his last win actually before he won this year. What was it at Pebble Beach?
Yeah.
So I think Colonial was the last one before that. I could be wrong. But so I do like Justin Rose, just the way he's played. We saw him obviously play well last week, 33-1. I like him. A guy I think that a lot of people are going to bet though, and I don't know. I know we don't talk about stayaways, but Minwoo in this range. But Minwoo Lee, I think I feel like a lot of people want to bet Minwoo. He kind of had a decent PGA, but I think I'm going to stay away from him. And I think I'm probably going to stay away from him in like DFS too. Like I get it.
Yeah.
I love Minwoo. I think he's a great personality. I think he's a
great hype videos.
Yeah,
on Instagram.
Great talent. We saw this week. I think he just earned like
Special temporary membership.
Yeah, on the tour, which is what happened with Tom Kim last year.
Yeah.
But I'm just not ready to go all in on Minwoo yet. So,
yeah, I'm with you. So I guess one big question before we get out of this range. So that means we're leaving out Ricky, and I have a little trepidation there because he's in the Fleetwood category. He's in the Jason Day, Wyndham Clark category. We've been riding.
yeah,
I do feel like we're not getting. I don't know. Although, like, I mean, if you sit there and go, maybe we're not getting a fair number on Ricky because he's such a public favorite and people love to hit it. But when he hasn't won in forever. But I mean, Fleetwood's at the same number, and Fleetwood's never won on the PGA Tour. So I mean, if we're happy with the Fleetwood number, I kind of feel like you have to be happy with the Fowler number. Even though I know he missed the cut, but he missed the cut on the number. He missed it by one shot at a PGA Championship. I don't care about that. I don't care. There wasn't anything like glaringly bad going on. It's also going to be really hard for me to leave Fowler out. So this range is very, very attractive to me.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think I actually have him to talk about a little bit later in the show, if that tells you anything. But I do not have him as
Ew. Is that a tease? Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the mid-range. There's a player in here that I really, really, really like, and he's the only one that I really, really, really like, honestly. But before I do that, I want to share my screen, show the people something. I haven't done this before. Ready? Folks, this is SoBet. This is what we've been talking about for months, okay? This is a platform where the people at SoBet vet the handicappers that are allowed to post. Not everyone is allowed to post on SoBet. You have to be one of their approved handicappers. And when they post, they have to post their picks with logic and with units, and they have to report back on how they're doing. So it's full transparency betting platforms on every sport. I think they're accumulating now close to 40 handicappers in all kinds of sports. But this is the look here on the web, and I just wanted to show the people on YouTube what it looks like. So here's like Lloyd's Locks giving his Lakers Nuggets picks for tonight, talking about the units. He's going to give it a little description here. You can actually even click on the tag and look at other pros who are talking about this game, and you can click them as well. But yeah, I mean, this is just a really cool experience, a cool app. They've got special Twitch streams you can go check out. And then people are going to report back how they do. Here's some baseball. Somebody's cooking up. Who's this? Big Hit Mark cooking up some baseball money line action. And then I like this too. You can kind of check out all the pros here on SoBet. And this is cool. When you visit a pro's profile, you can see how many people are subscribed to that pro and how many days they've got a hot streak going. Now they're working on building something for golf because a daily hot streak is kind of hard. And how many total hot streaks they've had. So, like, let's find one that's been in here a minute. Like, look, Ghost picks Jimmy, 7-day hot streak, and he's had 7 hot streaks. So, you can kind of see how hot are they. You can read up on all the pros. Anyway, SoBet's a pretty cool option. I encourage you to check it out. It is they've got a special promo going on right now. If you click on the link in the description and use promo code TJ, you will get 6 months at 20% off. So you'll get 6 months for about $39. That'll take you into NFL season, take you through the rest of the NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball heating up, and obviously we have our exclusive round robin bet that goes only on SoBet every single week, and it is up 11 units, people. 11 units. You're welcome. So check it out. SoBet, promo code TJ. Get yourself that discount for the next 6 months. Pat, the one player in this range that I really, really, really like is at 125-1 on PointsBet. At least he was earlier today.
I want to guess this because I feel like I could have it.
Hit it.
Hayden Buckley.
It is Hayden Buckley, who was
I knew it. He's going to be glaring to a lot of folks.
He is. He was in my sleepers video last week. I talked him up for the sleepers. He was low 6K on the PGA Championship for DraftKings. Continue to play well. Continue to hit it well. The only really bad thing in his arsenal is the short game, which again is not super difficult here. It is probably going to be necessary as the greens are small. But I mean, he's a flusher, and I just think this place is a perfect match for him. Despite his missed cut here last year, he lost 6 strokes on approach, which was the most he's ever lost in 81 recorded events. So I don't see that happening again here at the Charles Schwab. He's hot right now. The off the tee game is just money. I mean, there aren't many hitting the driver better than Hayden Buckley right now. He might be extra aggressive here at Colonial if he's still hitting it that well. I love him at 125-1. He's really one of the few I like in this range. I'm going to let you go, and I might fill in the gaps. I just don't love it here. I really like the range we talked about previously.
Well, and I agree with you, but obviously I had Buckley written down, and that was one of the reasons that I got that. But I think CBez at 90-1 is worth looking at. I mean, a couple things here with CBez. One, you look at, kind of leading up to this tournament, he had 2 top 25 finishes, a T19 at the RBC Heritage. And then he had, where was he? He was,
I talked about CBez this morning. I got shamed a little bit.
Really? I mean, T23 at the Byron Nelson, missed the cut last week. But then he's had a top 15 here. But let's also look at the stats if you're a stat guy. All right. Ball striking, top 25 in the field over the last 24 rounds. He's 5th in approach. He's number 1 in the field in proximity, looking at 100 to 125 yards. And I think they're going to have a lot of those kind of wedge shots in that range. And he's number 1 there. He's 20th in good drives gained. He's 4th in putting on bent grass greens. So CBez gives you a lot of things if you're a stats person. And I don't know why you would be shamed, actually, because I feel like a lot of people that listen to us and watch us and do whatever are big time stats people. They like the stats.
Yeah, I got some shame.
Well, CBez has the stats, all right, and he's 90-1, okay, to win. All of those things, I think, lead up to a guy that can win this golf tournament. So I like him at 90-1. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, Justin Sudd, 100-1 kind of interests me just because of the fact that we've seen him up on the leaderboards this year. He's not going to wow you. He's not a guy that, he's the opposite, really, of CBez. He's not going to show up in a lot of your models. But, we've seen him, play well in a lot of, good field events, which we haven't even talked about this. I mean, this field is really good.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that we're kind of in between a
major and
yeah. So
elevated event next week. I looked at CBez, looked at the only other one, and I see he's getting some talk up in the chat. Aussie DB Eric Cole. Yeah. Eric Cole at 100-1 seems like a good hit. It does. Just, as good as that dude's playing, ball striker. I think he likes kind of the tighter, more precision ball striker courses like the Honda, like what he did at wasn't the Players? Didn't he play well at the Players too? Yeah, I mean, Eric Cole at 100-1 does feel like a solid value. So I'm there. All right, let's move on. Let's get to the bombs. I do like a couple bombs. The first one is Ryan Palmer. I mean, Mr. Colonial. He really is. He is Mr. Colonial. He's King Colonial.
Does he live on that golf course?
It's his home course. He practices out of here. He does all that stuff. Okay. But he's also playing really well. I mean, we almost saw him win just a couple of weeks ago. He just missed US Open qualifying, which we haven't talked about that, but it's something to take note of. There's a couple names in this range we can talk about, or maybe in the next segment, the top 26 pack. But there was a 36 hole US Open qualifier today on Monday in Dallas. And a lot of guys that are in this field did attempt to play in it. Some did better than others. They just finished up, of note, not in this field, but Sergio Garcia qualified for the U.S. Open, his 24th consecutive U.S. Open. So another name just absolutely obliterated everybody that we'll talk about here in a second. But Ryan Palmer came one shot away from getting into the playoff to qualify. Shot a 63 and then ended that up with a 71. Probably because, he's probably tired. He's old. But, I mean, he's not a guy who has to, be out here and grind on, Tuesday and Wednesday at Colonial. He knows the place. Like, he'll be fine. And he's got a great record here, tremendous record here, 150-1 for a guy like that who almost won just a couple of weeks ago. And we know Ryan Palmer's a ball striker, like he can do his thing. I think that's just too good a value to pass up. And that may be something else to consider too. Is just kind of like, some of these guys that are coming over from, like Justin Suh reminds me of that a little bit. Like, goes deep in the PGA, and he's never played Colonial before. What is he doing today? Probably not much of anything. So, like, how prepared will he be? I don't know. So, I like Ryan Palmer just for what he has. I do think Ben Martin is intriguing at around 125, 150-1 on MGM. I'm not super committed yet, but I like it. And then a couple of buddies down here at 200 and 250-1. Nate Lashley, 200-1 on FanDuel, and Mark Hubbard at 250-1 on FanDuel. Hubs has played here and made the cut. I don't know why he's not had good finishes here, because it should be a great spot for him. But it does seem like he's hitting the irons better than normal, or than he has in years past at Colonial. So I like that for Hubbard. I kind of disregard his poor weekend at the PGA. Like, when Hubs is out of it, like when he knows he's out of it, he's just going to, he freaking did the whole trick putt thing again on Sunday. Like, he doesn't care that much. So yeah. I do think he lines up. And I think Nate Lashley continues to hit his irons extremely well. And a little bit easier conditions this week, I think he could do some damage. So those are a couple bombs.
Yeah, I like it. Nate Lashley, especially, I had him written down. Now, I saw him at 250-1. Is that shortened a little bit? Points bet, I thought maybe had him 250-1.
Let's see. I may have missed it. No, I see it 200 now on points bet too.
Damn. All right. Well, still like Nate Lashley. Another one, Vincent Norman. He is.
Yeah.
Now, I saw him at 200-1 on points bet, so maybe that's shortened as well.
Norman with 2 R's. Yes, he is now 200-1 even on points bet.
Yeah. So I think he's another one that I think you could look at. A guy that's had several good finishes here in a row. I think that you look at the stats for sure. He definitely, checks some boxes there when you're looking at, some ball striking, top 50 in the field. He's top 25 off the tee, makes a lot of birdies. He's top 10 in birdie or better percentage. So I think Vincent Norman is another one just as a long shot, potential winner. You look at his last couple events, he had a T18 at the Mexico Open, top 10 with a T8 at the AT&T Byron Nelson, also in Texas. Not that it really matters, but so Vincent Norman there at 7,000. That's his DK price, which I like too. Is at 200-1. So there you go.
Nice. Is that it?
Yep.
All right, let's talk about some top 20s. The top 26 pack. 2 locks, 1 bomb. Last week, our 2 locks did pretty good. We had Tommy Ladd at plus 200 and Tyrrell Hatton at plus 180. Those are the only 2 that hit. We did not hit the bombs. Unfortunately, my plus 850 Jordan Smith bet did not click. So, all right, I'll make this easy. Tommy Ladd, plus 130. I mean, I go to the names that are plus money for this. And the first one I find that I feel like is an absolute lock is Tommy Ladd. Just about every week he's playing right now. So at some point he might get tired of finishing in the top 20 and, either go home or win, go home early or win. But I think I'm going to keep riding it. So Tommy is my first lock at plus 130. And then a guy we've already talked about a good bit, and it's a long number, but I think Jaeger at plus 240. I think that's actually a lot. I think he can get it done top 20 in this field as good as he's hitting it right now. So I'm going Tommy Ladd and Jaeger as the locks.
All right. So I got to reset on Jaeger because I had him written down also.
No, we can agree.
But yeah, we agree on that one. So we'll just leave that. I had Ricky Fowler at plus 140.
I don't hate it either. Yeah.
So top 20 Ricky Fowler, but I did have Jaeger, so we'll just stick with that.
What about your bomb?
Bomb is going to be Akshay at plus 450.
Akshay.
I like Akshay a lot. I think this guy is just a great ball striker, and I don't think, you should just look at one particular course type for him. Don't think just because he did well in Mexico, which was a little bit of a bomber's paradise and all of that he can't do well on other courses. I think this guy has all the talent in the world. I like him as a top 20 at plus 450.
All right, so my top 20 is a guy that is getting some chatter. I tweeted about him earlier today. Carson Young continues to do his thing. The man with the mustache from Anderson, South Carolina, just absolutely blitzed this U.S. Open qualifier in Dallas, shot a 63, and then followed it up in the same day with a 62, and went ahead and took the course record for that golf course. And beat everyone in the qualifier by at least 5. Austin Eckroat qualified in second place at 11 under. Carson Young at 16 under. So a guy who is in, and I'm not just talking about obviously what he's doing in a U.S. Open qualifier right down the street from Colonial, but I mean Carson Young has been playing quite good lately. I think he has 3 top 20s in his last 4 events. That's including the RBC Heritage, which was an elevated event, and just recently the AT&T Byron Nelson. Like his irons are popping. Off the tee is popping, and he putts well. So I think Carson Young is very live for a top 20 at 7-1. He's 400-1 outright. That's probably not happening for Carson Young. I believe he would probably shit down his leg if he found himself late on a Sunday with Spieth and Scheffler. But a top 20 is not out of the realm of possibility, and 7-1 feels really good. I could see that number getting much shorter. So I like Carson Young.
Yeah. Don't mind it. I like it. Okay.
That is it for the betting show. We're gonna head to the DFS show. We're gonna do that. We're gonna talk a little bit more about some of the storylines coming out of the PGA there on the DFS show, and have a good night. Have a great week. We'll do all the normal scheduled programming for the Discord and the Nut Hut this week. Both emails going out, the Wednesday lunchtime chat, the Wednesday evening chat. All the good stuff will be dropped in the Discord, and we appreciate everybody. Thanks for the support. Next week, we do have an elevated event. It's going to be awesome. And then before we know it, it'll be U.S. Open week again. So bend over your bookie and have a great week. See ya. Out.